Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy, Leo Mookie here, back to you with another new chapter of Code Armor, The Fires of Geass. And back with you guys on another new chapter of this series. Honestly, this is basically going to be a short one, so just letting you guys know this now. With that of a quick recap, building up that of his new organization, the organization that will be basically going against both the Empire and the Geass Order, while also finding out ways to improve the situation around that of the world and the areas as well. Gene also going to Ashford Academy, with his time there being somewhat irritating, annoying, and somewhat enjoyable. The annoying part being students basically looking down on him, even though he is a noble and they're basically his superior. Having that of, constantly being looked down upon due to his half-breed nature, and being stalked by that of Nina, which he's annoyed by, but not too bothered by it as well. Part of him actually kind of likes it, but you wouldn't hear him say that outright. Even spending time with that of the student council, even though he basically puts him involved with that of the main plot of Code Geass, instead of just being on the sidelines. Well, even so, it isn't too bad after all. However, what truly fully strikes, given that the Battle of Shinjuku, the thing that would have been known as the Shinjuku Massacre, would have now taken place, with Gene alongside Rusty working together, with Rusty basically taking one of their transport helicopters, picking up civilians from that of the ghetto and bringing them back to their base, while Gene alongside that of Air, or rather, I should say, Raven, destroying that of the Britannian forces trying to kill innocent people due to Clovis's mistaken bullshit, showing the power of a 6th generation armor core, or a weaker version of a 6th generation armor core, with the battle between both Raven and Suzaku becoming that of a fierce one, as Suzaku's 7th generation Nightmare the Lancelot holding its own against that of the Lynx. However, the Lynx wasn't made for that of full-on, long drawn-out battles after all, which soon led to that of Prince Clovis calling off all of his forces, leading the Lynx and Raven and Air to head back to base. So, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? Chapter 3, Operation Burn. Arriving back at his large mansion, within soon sending out that of a unique signal code that can only reacts to one place. As then a launch bay door opens up, which then soon shows a platform for the Lynx to land down. As landing back on the ground with that of a huge massive of dirt and grass basically flying everywhere, with the Lynx basically going inside and turning around before the hatch closes, and then the Lynx begins to fall down. Within soon, it all becomes dark before red lights begin to cut on in the elevator way. Within soon, taking off his helmet, he can up and say, that takes care of that. You doing good, Air? Within, Air saying, I should be asking you that, Raven, saying, Gene, now, we're not in an operation combat zone. Saying, right, Gene, that fight with that of the Lancelot, saying, yeah, Suzaku was really something else. Not surprising. I mean, in my world, Suzaku's entire character was based off that of Kira Yamato, the protagonist of Gundam Seed series. And however, unlike Kira Yamato, who was basically a naive, optimistic, and basically blunt, and basically one mind noted person, Suzaku shares some characteristics, but the only difference is the bastard is basically one giant ass hypocrite and is willing to basically throw away all of his damn principles just so he can satisfy his own personal goal, and is willing to burn all the bridges he's ever built just because of it. And not only that, this is season 1 Suzaku basically driven to wanting to kill himself to atone for his sins. Sure, when he meets Euphemia, she does help him overcome that pain and basically get out of his old funk of basically dying. But after she dies, he goes back to that whole mentality of wanting to kill himself, mainly because he feels guilty about betraying everybody around him and lying to everybody around him too. The only reason he can't is because of Lelouch Geassing him to survive and live on. But then again, this is the same person who's willing to basically throw away everything he stood for, all the people who he see as his closest friends, people that he saw as a new family, and yet he threw it all away just to satisfy his own ideas of creating a perfect peace. It really does sicken me on how far people like him are willing to go, how easily they can be used to be manipulated. Shows on how weak-willed he truly is. With then soon Air saying, "You truly do hate him. I despise him." Killing him would basically destroy the plot, but even so, better him dead than him being used as another puppet and tool. With then soon, he gets at that of a call sign toward into that of his cockpit, as it being the logo for Rusty, with showing that of his wolf logo. However, his V4 wolf logo, with the muzzle on that of his wolf icon, within only that of audio only saying, "You really do despise the guy that much," saying, "You know me better than that." Rusty saying, "Oh, don't I know it." At any rate, we've already gathered all the civilians here in the base. We're about to send half of them back to that of the Xylon, while the other half plan on going back to Shinjuku. Within hearing this, Jean couldn't help but raise an eyebrow, saying, "Wait, what do you mean some of them plan on heading to the Xylon?" I thought for sure that many of them would just be happy and grateful that they're alive and go back to their normal lives here in Japan, or back to the Shinjuku ghetto. Within soon, another call sign coming in, as being that of an unfamiliar voice, but familiar to the two, saying, "Come on, boss, you shouldn't be too surprised. I mean, these people were finally fed up with that of Britannia's rule. They basically just saw them as nothing but cattle and people to slaughter. Some of them even saw their loved ones be killed right in front of them. A few of them don't want to leave Japan because it's all they know. It's all they live for. They're still hoping for a better life, but some are tired. They're tired of being shot at, tired of being discriminated on, tired of being treated like crap. So they're being offered a chance to go back to the Xylon. Unfortunately, not a lot of people are joining. We only have that of 1,000 people going back to the Xylon. The main majority plan on going back to the Shinjuku ghetto, saying, well, it's more than I expected was going to come. At any rate, if they want a better life, then allow them to go. Thanks for telling me this, Nazuki." As the voice from the mysterious voice, being Nazuki, saying, "Anytime, boss. Also, you got those documents?" Saying, "Oh yeah, the documents about finding out that C2, that wasn't poison gas, but C2. Yeah, I made sure to copy them before everything hit the fan after all. Once I show these to Ogi and basically the resistance group to show them what the fuck that they do, what led to the Britannians to try and wipe them all out, not because of toxic gas, but because Clovis didn't want his dirty little secret of trying to find out immortality." Within saying, "Radio, boss. Still, an immortal girl with immortality?" Saying, "Trust me, there's way much more crazy stuff in this world, Natsuki. I'll give you the full details when we go back to my study." With that, he finally arrives down to the underground base, within seeing that of a bunch of people, some frantic, some scared, some leaving. With then, soon, all of them couldn't help but be shocked and surprised, while some excited and happy, while some still a little bit scared. Within, the lifts putting up that of the links into that of the loading dock bay, as carrying it away before then laying it back down, unplugging himself from that of the cockpit, as he couldn't help but winces a little bit, and then saying, hurts going in, hurts going out. Look, good thing that the pain only lasts for a little bit. Within, Air saying, so, you ready to go? Saying, yeah. Within, the cockpit opens up, as he soon steps out. Before then, could still feel the rush of combat, the rush of battle. He can't help but want to get more into it, and doesn't want to leave his AC, but decides to do so. Within, soon walking down that of the ways, with many people wondering who he is, before one of them saying, wait a minute, I know you. I've seen you before. You're Gene Vargas, one of the nobles here in Britannia, here in Area 11. You're a Britannian. But then, everybody's completely and utterly shocked, scared, and terrified, with some people wondering what he's going to do to them, and why did he save them, and why was he in that giant nightmare frame, as they say, calling the Lynx that. Within, soon, even some realizing that Rusty is a Britannian, even putting it together too. Within, soon, Natsuki, soon basically standing up before screaming, shut it up! With then getting a better look at the guy, as he's basically wearing that of a long hoodieless sweatshirt, as he having that of black spiky hair, with that of wearing that of the Shinjuku Resistance Group's red bandanas, with one of the Japanese civilians saying, wait, you're one of the Resistance Group. You saying the whole situation, that boy up there, that Britannian that you all are terrified of or hating on, is the very reason that you're all still alive to this very moment. And the very reason on why he's giving you all another chance to live a better life. The some of you who planned on going to the Xylon, do you want to change back out now knowing that the person that saved you, the person that's giving you another chance to live a better life outside of Britannian's rule, all because you're afraid on who he is? Tell me, is that the very reason on why that you're all scared of having a better life now? With then soon, some people couldn't help but look down and ashamed of themselves, basically demonizing their savior, while some still a little bit angry, saying, then what about you? This is all because of you. You really expect us to thank a person like you, one of the resistance group that caused all this? If you didn't piss off Britannia, none of this would have happened. Many of our friends, our loved ones, and family would still be alive. With then, soon, a few civilians couldn't help but speak up, saying, yeah. With that, Gene going over to Rusty, saying, should we help him out? I mean, not say he's a good guy, he's a good public speaker, but nah, I think he's got this. Let him. With Gene shoving his shoulders, is saying, all right. With then Natsu saying, look, you all have the right to hate on that of the Shinjuku Resistance Group. It's justified. Honestly, I'm not even with the Resistance Group. I'm with them. I was only a spy trying to find a way to help out many people within the Shinjuku ghetto. And this is your only chance you're going to get. Any of you who are still on the fence on going to that of the Xylon, going to that of the city and the seas, giving you a second chance of a new life away from Britannia, a new life where you can build a better life for yourselves. Start anew is awaiting for you if you get on this ship, if you get on this ride right now. But any of you who still want to stay here, who still want to stay in Japan, still want to stay in Area 11, because you still want to believe in your ideas of being Japanese, and you don't want to abandon your homeland, then go ahead. You can stay down here and wait until Rusty there, pointing at that of the blonde-haired, scarred-faced man, waving at all of them, takes you all back to the Shinjuku ghetto, where your lives as 11s will never change. It will always stay the same. you'll always be numbers here in our former homeland. With then saying all that, many of them still hesitate, some still angry and annoyed, while soon a select few, mainly that of a woman and that holding that of her baby, going over to that of the people heading to the Xylon. Within soon a few children going to the Xylon as well. Within more and more people going over to that of the people heading to the Xylon. Within soon, instead of 1,000 people, it's now up to that of 220 people. Still pretty small, but better than nothing. And soon, Gene saying, well, it looks like he did it, saying, told you. You wouldn't have trusted him with that of looking after the Shinjuku ghetto if he didn't. Saying, yeah, you're right. Absolutely right. After that, there's still a majority of people still wanting to go back to that of the ghetto. As soon after that, a few of civilians from that of the Xylon decided to take the people back to back to the Xylon, while some take them back to that of the Shinjuku ghetto. For the Shinjuku ghetto one, it took basically going back and forth to make sure that they were all safe, to send them back after all. But other than that, better than nothing. Still, good idea that they still haven't been found out through that of disrupting that of radios and camouflaging themselves too. Best thing is that currently right now, Britannian forces are still in disarray with then soon, and that of Gene's study. Basically his real study, unlike the one that he used as that of a front to basically to head back to that of their underground base. With then, as this study basically is, well, a lot more larger and bigger. There are at least that of 2 comforter couches, a few chairs in the front, a few lounge chairs, and even that of 1 large desk. With on that, having that of 1 regular computer, while the other is that of a holographic display computer, connecting him to that of the Xylon and their forces all across the world. With then soon looking over his laptop computer, seeing what happened at that of Shinjuku, as on one side it's showing that of the documents and reports from that of the attack, even showing that of all the casualties, 1,500 casualties, all because of the links, mainly because the Britannian forces weren't ready for his armor core, of course, and how quick and fast it was given its light-weighted armor and setup too. With then looking over on that the other side, it seems like they're already starting to do damage control, saying that the toxic gas was the reason behind many soldiers' death, that the resistance group caused more fatalities than anything. With then soon, he couldn't help but sigh, saying, already starting that of their smear campaign about the 11s, even though we're the ones that caused all this. With then, Rusty basically looking over the files as well, but then saying, seems so. There's not even one mention outside of the official reports about that of your AC, buddy. With then Natsumi looking over saying, the casualty rate. They don't even talk about that. The casualty rates for that of the Japanese, of course. Good thing that you were there to keep the casualties from skyrocketing. But by my estimate, then so many people were still pretty angry. Possibly at least that of 500 to maybe even that of 900 people were killed. Were still killed. Mainly those who were possibly still stuck in their homes, in their apartments after all. And maybe some were even trapped behind that of dead ends, given how how badly damaged the entire district still was. With then soon, Gene can help but say, yep, I'm aware that I can't save everybody. All I can do is save those that I can see in front of me. Taking down the soldiers was important, but keeping the civilians safe was more important to me then basically sending a message. Also, Lelouch is now active. He's got his Geass, and he's now probably going to start his little rebellion after all. He's already killed Clovis by now. Just got to give it at least a few more hours before that of the nobility and what's left of them basically calls me up and we start that of a stupid-ass meeting. Soon after that, the Puritan faction, led by Jeremiah, is going to use Suzaku Kiryuji as that of a scapegoat for the honorary Britannian to destroy the honorary Britannian system to all areas all across the empire. But knowing Lelouch, he wasn't going to allow his best friend to die after all. And of course, Suzaku, taking that justification and still being that of the same lapdog that he always is going to go back to Britannia after all, believing that he can change the Britannia from the inside, even though doing so is completely and utterly ridiculous and stupid. You can't change Britannia that has been the same for almost that of several centuries. If you want to change Britannia, you need real power. You need real strength to do so. Not even the royal family can change as much either. I mean, look what happened with that of Lelouch's mother, even though we all know the real truth and what happened to her. Within, Natsume saying, still can't believe that all this shit has basically been ordained after all. That everything that has happened, from the death of one of the wives of the emperor, to that of exiling his own children to Japan, using that as false pretenses to basically invade and then take over Japan. Not only that, even finding out the truth that Britannia is nothing but the country is nothing but puppets themselves to that of an order called the Geass Order. At first, I didn't even believe it. Soon, Jin saying, oh, trust me, you, Rei, and Matsumi all tried to fucking kill me and basically shot at my face at all that's a damn lie. Within, Natsume couldn't help but scratch the back of his head saying, yeah, sorry about that, boss. But still, all the same, we had to figure how we're supposed to basically take over this and take down Britannia. Within saying, like I said before, take down the Geass Order and Britannia falls with it. Soon after, those in the royal family are probably going to try and take over, mainly Sneasel and possibly Cordelia as well, to get things in order. But our main task is to prevent the Ragnarok connection. Not to me, saying, yeah, that. Still don't think that I can believe that shit. But even so, our main goal is to take down Britannia. Taking out the Geass Order is the same thing, taking them out, right? Saying, absolutely. Saying, all right then, as long as that's our main goal, then I'm still here, just as I told you before. At any rate, you got the files? Within, soon, hearing that of a printer basically finished printing, as soon a layer of that of 10 papers detailing that of the experiments that they did on that of C2, now given to that of Natsume, as Jin saying, there you go. Within, looking over the folders, within saying, Jesus, I mean, god damn, what the hell? Within, Jin saying, I didn't think that you believe in Christianity, saying, yeah, I'm a Shintoist, but even so, just saying it is just expressing how much this pisses me off. They did this to a girl all because they find out that she's basically unkillable, saying, yep, she's also another key component to bringing down the Geass Order. But she'll be useful, but we already know where she's going to be going and what she'll be doing. Mainly keeping an eye on that of Lelouch. They've already made a contract. Saying, yeah, he told me about that. The power of Geass. The same power that, well, Miss Marksman has. Ugh, that power. It just feels so wrong. Within saying, tell me about it. Yeah, that Geass really does suit the power of all mine, of course. Within, shaking his head saying, any rate, show that stuff to Ogi and the others. They'll find out what the very thing that they basically cost so many people their lives and nearly their own lives for nothing. Within saying, got it. Within realizing, oh, right, that reminds me. Natsume, is, well, Naoto are within realizing, oh, right. You wanted me to see if Naoto Kazuki or Naoto Stadfield, the leader of the Shinjuku resistance group, is still alive, right? Saying, yeah. Did he? Unfortunately, no. He didn't make it. Just as you were basically hoping he didn't, he died giving the information that they needed for the supposed toxic gas, but it wasn't really toxic gas. To be honest, the way he got that information was basically the public information, not the real military or information like you had. Damn it. You know, part of me thinks you should have told them, but saying, and if I told them, did you really expect them to believe the words of a Britannian over that of a Japanese person? Within, blinking multiple times before sighing, saying, yep, you're right. You're absolutely right. They wouldn't believe the words of a Britannian. Within, having that of a look of pure and utter annoyance and hatred, but mainly that hatred was self-hatred though. A Britannian who's giving up almost every chance he can, who's basically risking his life for people he doesn't know, for his own country has basically destroyed. And yet, you're doing more for us than we're doing for ourselves. And saying, well, you know what they say, kindness comes from that of unlikely places. Some people have their own majority and their own motives, but I'm not keeping the secrets on what our main goal is. Saying, you're right, you're not. You're being 100% honest with us. Any rate, thanks, boss. I'll catch you later. You don't mind if you want to use one of my rides to get back to the ghetto, go ahead. It's all yours. Even though this is still Britannia, some Japanese laws still remain. I can't drive a car until I can get my license after all, which is basically my 17th birthday. But luckily, I still have my motorcycle license, so I can at least drive a bike soon. Saying, well, at least there's one thing about Britannians, they still at least keep some laws the same. As he soon leaves that of the study, before then, and only just being that of Jean and Rusty. Within, Rusty putting down the data pad as well, saying, so, what's our next plan? Saying, like I said, we're just going to let things play out now. Lay low, to be honest. Allow Lelouch to plan his little rebellion. Show up as Zero, save Suzaku. Probably try and start other bullshit. After that, once Cordelia shows up, that's when I'll make our move. We take down that of the goddess of victory of Britannia, aka the witch to everybody else. Then our organization will basically get more and more notoriety. Sooner or later, Britannia will try and find us out. Good thing that the Xylon is still hidden by that of Britannia's systems, alongside that of the Chinese Federation as well, and the European Union. Also, speaking of, what about the Black Knight? The Black Knights are supposed to happen once Lelouch creates them. What are we going to do? When the Black Knights is formed, Lelouch plans each and every way to basically gather all the most important people under his thumb, causing him to be the leader. Started with that of Ogie and Colin's group. Then it grows with that of more and more people wanting to join, mainly because they believe in that of Zero. Then, when he sabotages that of the Japanese Liberation Front, forcing the 4 Heavenly Swords to come to him so they can save Toto. Then Toto basically decides to work under that of Zero because he feels like it's the only way for him to liberate Japan. Then when the first rebellion fails, then that's when that of the Chinese Federation decides to help out. Mainly that of the Empress faction. But that's all in the anime. In the manga, there are other factions that ended up helping out the Black Knights, like Orpheus and his mercenary group as well. Speaking of, I gotta ask Chatty if he's found Orpheus and his crew. If we can have them on our side, it'll make things a lot more easier. Chatty may be hacking into that of Britannian systems, but sooner or later they're gonna find him. And I don't want the little guy to continue getting a wrist. He's an AI that doesn't know much about the world. I want him to at least try to experience it this time, unlike the other times. With then hearing that, Rusty can up and say, Gene, you're a kind-hearted person, you know that? Saying, huh? Where the hell is this coming from, Rusty? Saying, I'm being honest. You value everybody's lives, even your enemies as well. Outside of Suzaku Kitaruji, you care about everyone and want them all to live. Saying, well, there are some people I basically take pleasure in wanting to kill more than anything in this world. The only thing I really want is try and make things better for everybody. Especially since this is one of the worlds where the Ragnarok connection ended up happening. I want to make sure that doesn't happen here. Everybody deserves free will, deserves to think for themselves, to want things for themselves, not think like everybody else, become nothing but one giant-ass hive mind. That's not peace. That's basically enslavement. And then after we take care of that, we'll take care of that as Sneasel's plan. To basically hold a gun to the world's head, and if they try anything, he's basically going to obliterate them. Seriously. Like father, like son. And I should say the same about Lelouch's plan too. That Zero Requiem plan. Basically making him the most hated person in the world. Worse than fucking Hitler. And then when he dies, everything becomes peaceful. Everything becomes happy. All the nations basically work together, becoming the very world that we lived in back in my world. The United Nations is born. There's no more war. Please. In the anime, that's perfect. However, then when you basically got that of Lelouch of Revival, when you got that of the movie where Lelouch comes back to life, it basically shows that there isn't really true peace. When an entire world is filled with peace, there's always going to be that one nation that suffers because of it. And not only that, there was this talk about another Code Geass series, which takes place right several years after Code Geass, with basically Britannia coming back in the fold after all. But instead of taking over all of Japan, they take over basically the island. One of the largest islands of Japan being Hokkaido. And yet, you would think that the United Nations would make sure that this didn't happen again. Seriously. I'm just saying, this world has a lot of problems. And most of those problems has to do with Britannia. And then the Geass Order. Or the power of Geass as a whole. Within, Russ saying, it's almost like you're saying that the world itself is the problem. Within saying, and what if it is? We humans are a flawed species. We can't help but become what we are. All we can do is basically minimize casualties, deaths, and suffering. That's all we can do. And that's exactly what we of Oracle, the independent nation, plan on doing. We plan on freeing this world. If anything, we're going to be doing what those in Gundam 00 did. We're going to be doing armed interventions. Once we make a fully stable foothold, that's exactly what we're going to be doing. But it will be a while until we make that a reality. For the meantime, we just got to make sure that the Black Knights still stay intact, destroy the Geass Order, take down Britannia, and basically ruin the entire royal imperial family if we can. Mostly on the side. Within Rusty can help but say, you got everything laid out on a step-to-step plan, saying, can you blame me? I've thought about this a lot, and I mean a lot. Plus, I've had Carla's help alongside Ayers. Alongside that of Kate too. With the three of them helping me out, I was able to basically make perfect countermeasures and plans after everything. The best thing we can do is, within soon, before he could finish what he was saying, he gets a call, but not from that of his original phone, but that of his Code Geass phone. Within soon, seeing the caller as it being from that of the government bureau, saying, ah, shit. Looks like they finally starting to start the meeting. Within soon, Gene opening the call, then saying, Duke Vargas, we are having an important meeting with that of the nobility in the Puritan faction about the incident that happened several hours ago. Please come to that of the Viceroy's palace so we can have this meeting. Saying, oh, sure, got it. Within soon, entering the call, saying, better get those damn stupid ass, monkey suit on. Saying, you really hate your noble clothing. Saying, oh, you have no idea how much I hate that shit. Within saying, don't worry, Gene. As patting him on the back, saying, I'll suffer there with you as your bodyguard. Saying, your sarcasm doesn't help me, Rusty. Getting on that of his noble attire, which is basically what you would see any noble possibly wearing in that of the 18th century. He finds this noble wears basically tacky as hell, and I mean really tacky. Hell, a regular suit and tie he can handle, but something like this, which is uncomfortable as hell, not a chance. As getting in out of their car, and one of the many cars that Gene has, they soon head to that of the city of the Tokyo settlement of Neo-Tokyo. With then reaching out of the Viceroy's palace, getting in and out of the parking lot, then soon heading inside, as many people salute and basically bow their head towards that of Gene. Within, Gene can help but roll his eyes at all the attention. Within soon, a person basically saying, Duke Vargas, so you actually decided to show yourself. Hearing his name title, as he knows this irritating and pain in the ass, voice. Within couldn't help but give that of a fake-ass smile, saying, Lord Kiel, it's good to see you. I would expect that you would be with that of Jeremiah and Valletta, actually, given that you're part of the same faction, after all. Within saying, well, sorry, my lord, but I have some other duties to do after all. I was just about to head into that of the meeting a little while ago. If you would know, this is a quite important one, and a tragic one as well. Saying, oh, tragic? About what? Losing so many goddamn resources for one little urban development plan? Within saying, pardon? I'm aware of the stupid stunt that His Highness has done. And if he's basically started this stupid ass meeting because he wants us to basically have our story straight about what happened, then don't worry. I'll basically make sure to keep my ears open about this, as long as it's about keeping our story straight. I don't plan on staying here for too damn long. Within, the man couldn't help but get annoyed at that of the young Duke. But then saying, sure, of course. You are a noble after all. You're free to do whatever you see fit. Within, going to the elevator, as Rusty couldn't help but give Kiel a look too, as that of the redhead couldn't help but get annoyed, saying, damn half-blooded brat. It's not fair. Somebody like him with that of a noble title, and he's nothing but a half-breed? It's not fair. Not fair at all. As Kiel basically also heading up in the elevators as well. Within soon, seeing that of a meeting room with that of several nobles, as it only being that of 5 nobles, as these 5 are basically those who serve under that of, Clovis, and were basically sucking up to him just for his prestige and title, being the third prince in line for the throne after all. Within couldn't help but roll his eyes and basically go to his seat. Within, one of the nobles saying, young Lord Vargas, good to see that you come, saying, I just want to get this meeting over with. Within, looking around, saying, so where's His Highness? Surely he should be here, saying, so you haven't heard. You see, about that. Within soon, the doors open loudly, as then, both Kiel, Valletta, and Jeremiah, the members alongside that of a few other members of the Puritan faction, come in. However, they seem a little bit, stressed out. Within soon, Jeremiah saying, It seems like you're all here, with then realizing, where is Bartley? With then, soon, one of the nobles saying, General Bartley, he said that he'll be running late, actually. Then saying, oh, is that so? Well then, the good general has his reasons, I believe. With then, soon, couldn't help but get annoyed at this, before saying, this meeting is an important meeting. We have to keep this a secret for the time being, at least for now. But then, many of the nobles, except that of Jean and Rusty, were basically not even or worried. Within soon, Jeremiah saying, this meeting has to take place. Look, His Highness Clovis Law Britannia has been killed. Within saying, with all the nobles couldn't help but be shocked. As for Jean, he couldn't help but raise and have his eyes wide open and pretending to be shocked alongside that of Rusty. Within soon, Jeremiah saying, I understand how you all feel. This is basically impossible. Unperturbed and such things can never happen. But it has. Somebody has assassinated our viceroy, one of our princes of our nation, of our glorious country and nation. And such thing must not stand. The reason because of this is within soon. Jean speak up saying, it's because Clovis was doing something that he shouldn't have, right? Within, everybody looking at the young prince, at the young noble. Within soon, Valletta, the dark-skinned and silver-haired young woman saying, Duke Vargas saying, I'm aware of what Clovis was doing, actually. I have that of the evidence right here. But, of course, I need to know the true reason behind the urban development plan on why it was hastily expanded today. Why was it? Within soon, Huel couldn't help but get annoyed at the guy. Within Jeremiah saying, Lord Vargas, you see, the reason being, don't bullshit me, Gottwald, and don't dance around the situation. Tell me or else. Within soon, Jeremiah couldn't help but clench his hand saying, the terrorist from the Shinjuku ghetto ended up stealing a toxic bomb with toxic gas that could have caused quite a bit of damage all across that of the Tokyo settlement. Our duty was to capture it back. His Highness is what wanted us to bring it back, though. Within, however, we were unable to get it from that of the ghetto. So His Highness asked us to. That's the thing, that toxic gas, there wasn't toxic gas inside, actually. Within, all of them eyes wide in shock. But then Velez saying, what do you mean? Saying, the thing is, it was a top secret project. Not even I know about it because I've given my clearance after all, as he's basically lying about that. Being a duke, he has more clearance than anyone in this damn room. Within saying, but the top secret project was quite something that would basically cause Clovis to possibly be disowned by the emperor himself. But it was supposed to be for the benefit of Britannia, though. But even if it was for its benefit, it was still dangerous that even the emperor would be angry at his own son. He's not against disowning his whole family, after all. We saw what happened with that of the V. Britannia family. Soon hearing that, Jeremiah couldn't help but clench his fist, hearing about one of his greatest failures as a proud knight of Britannia, being one of the personal guards of that of former Empress Marianne V. Britannia. Soon Jean couldn't help but say, whatever this reason was, it's the reason on why His Highness was killed. And not only that, and knowing that all of our resources, that so many of our that are true soldiers, that good men and women of the Britannian forces died because of one dumbass brat's ideas for grandeur, then we're done here. I'm heading back home. Within, soon saying his piece, walking out, as Jeremiah having his head down, before Valletta wanting to say something. As for Huel, he couldn't help but have that of a look of pure and utter disgust and hatred for Jean. As for Jean basically seeing this, he couldn't help but smirk at that of the racist bastard. Within heading out of the meeting hall, before then going into that of the elevator, is then saying, "Oh God, I hate being in stuffy ass rooms like that." Saying, "Man, you really were giving them a word for it." Saying, "I'm the only one here with the highest ranking of nobility. Sooner or later, they're gonna have to give me the title of being temporary viceroy. But honestly, I don't even want it either. I'll give it to Jeremiah. Keep things the same as always." But then Rusty saying, "Still, was it a pretty smart idea to mention the secret project? As long as I didn't tell him that it was C2 and just tell them that it was a secret project, then that's all that matters. They'll still probably think it's dangerous, but still, better that than nothing." With then saying, "Any rate, we still got some other plans to take care of. We got to see how the other resistance sects reacted, especially on our two informants at two resistance groups. After all, I need to see how Ray and Mizune are doing, what info they got from me." Within Rusty saying, "True enough. I'll probably see about them later. Besides, you still got school tomorrow." Saying, "Ah, shit. That's right. And honestly, I don't even know if I'm going to have to be able to make up for the missed work I have. This is a pain in the ass." With then heading back into that of their car, driving off. However, unaware that a certain green-haired somebody was keeping an eye on Jean and Rusty as they drive off into the city and out of the city as well. With then, as they basically go into that of the garage, with then saying, "Hey, listen, I'm going to go out for a drink. Today has been somewhat stressful." Saying, I feel you on that. If I honestly was still 25 years old, I would be drinking too. Damn this body of mine." With then soon saying, "Just try and get some good sleep. And don't be staying up too long to work on your ACs." Saying, "When have I?" As Rusty gives him a knowing look. But then Jean saying, "Okay, you got me there. At any rate, have a good night, Rusty." "You too, buddy." Within the garage doors opens up again. Within Rusty driving out. Within soon notice Air speaks up saying, "Raven," saying, "You've been quiet quite a bit, Air. What's going on? Somebody's actually here at the house. You and Rusty didn't notice. They're at the front door." Saying, "Wait, seriously? Who would be all the way out here at this time?" But then realizing, "Oh shit, don't tell me." As then, still in his noble clothes, he soon goes to that of the large front door, opening up the doors. But then soon noticing somebody standing at that of the small stairway, as being Nina. But then realizing, "Ah shit, I totally forgot. She came here possibly to give me my missing work for today." As she looks like she's about to pass out. Before then, soon, Jean saying, "Nina, what are you doing here?" But then she's saying, realize as she having that of a full-on blushing face, saying, "Oh, Jean, let me guess, came to give me my missing schoolwork, didn't you?" But then she blushing while nodding her head in that of confirmation, but then saying, "Thanks, I appreciate it." And within realizing the time, saying, "It's 9 o'clock at night." Within saying, "I just wanted to bring it to you. What took you so?" "I've actually been here for at least a good hour or so." Saying, "Seriously? You came here at the same time as we basically left?" At this time, the trains leading outside of the Tokyo settlement are closed right now. So, and Rusty just left. There's that too, and god damn it. Come on in. Within, she's saying, "What? You're stay here for tonight?" I'm not letting you basically walk that of a good hour or two back to Ashford. Millie would never be able to let it down and basically give me an earful for it. Same thing also goes for Shirley too. And I especially don't want to hear it from Rivals. With then soon Nina saying, "But you don't." In house now. After hearing that, as being quite stern, kind of does something for that of Nina. As she goes in without any warning. Within, Jean saying, go from that of a combat zone to now doing this bullshit. This is my life now. However, as he says this with that of annoyance, however, if you could look pretty closely on his face, you could see a smirk, showing that he's not really annoyed by it, but actually enjoying it. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Love to read them. So, how'd you guys like this? This is basically the aftermath chapter for that of the last chapter, and also how things are starting to deploy, with even Jean giving out his plans and laying everything out on what they need to prepare for and what they need to counter for as well. Not only that, it also shows that they have agents in that of the most important organizations, and that of, well, Code Geass after all. Also, Jean is not the kind of person to be that of simple-minded like that of Suzaku and Lelouch after all, where Suzaku is trying to change the world for the better from the inside of a tyrannical, twisted, and self-entitled country, while Lelouch is basically trying to destroy the country as a whole while trying to satisfy his own curiosity on who killed his mother after all. Jean, on the other hand, is basically trying to make a world better, trying to create that of a nation where everybody that's affected by Britannia and the corruption of the world itself can find a place where they can live their lives. Basically, the Xylon is the closest thing to what Code Geass is going to get to that of the United States after all. And maybe the current United States is basically a shithole of a country as that we live in now. But even so, better than nothing if I had to say so. So yeah, any rate, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification, keep to date my videos when I upload on the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, gaming channel, mine channel, other channel, Patreon, and Cash App. All link in the description below if you're not too lazy to do so. So, with all that said, this is Yamuki, signing out. Later guys, and hope you all take care.